Dashavatar represents the 10 different incarnations of Vishnu, which were taken to save the earth and its living beings from destruction. This video will narrate to you the story of the 5th incarnation of Vishnu. To know all about the 10 avatars of Vishnu, watch the playlist linked in the comments below. Despite being an Asura, King Bali was a pious man and was a devotee of Vishnu like his grandfather Prahalad. He had become so powerful that he had acquired all of the Prithvi Lok, the earth. During his process of empowering the Asuras through his might and penance, Bali was ready to conquer the other 2 lokas as well, Svargalok and Patal Lok. Indra feared that the Devas were becoming incapable of defeating the Asuras under the leadership of Bali. He feared if Bali conquered the Svargalok, the Devas would be forced to leave their abode. Therefore, the Devas reached to Vishnu for help. One day, the Brahmana Vamana reached the court of King Bali requesting for charity or alms. It was a custom in the court of Bali that no Brahmin would leave his palace empty-handed. So the king was more than willing to offer the Brahmin anything he desired. Upon questioning his needs, Vamana said that he wanted land measuring up to 3 steps of his tiny feet. But Bali urged the Brahmin that he was capable of giving him more and insisted that he asked enough that he would never have to ask anything else ever again. "If I were not satisfied with just 3 paces of land," responded Vamana, "I would not be satisfied even with the whole universe. If I got one island, I would want others. It is better to be satisfied with whatever destiny brings, for discontent can never bring happiness." In this way, he hinted that Bali should not have set out to conquer the whole universe, because it would never bring him happiness. When sage Shukracharya, the guru of the Asuras, heard these words from Vamana's mouth, he knew in that moment that it was none other than Vishnu who had come to trick the king. He immediately warned his disciple King Bali not to give anything to the Brahmin, as it was Vishnu. Bali asked Vamana to measure his 3-foot size land and it would be given to him. Then Vishnu, in the form of Vamana, began growing his size. He grew and grew until he filled the whole universe. Everything was within his form: the earth, the sea, the birds, beasts, and human beings, and all the planets themselves. Bali saw everything that existed in the wonderful form of the Lord. His feet was the surface of the earth, his breath was the wind, his hair was the clouds, and his eyes were the sun. He then lifted his foot to measure 3 steps. In 1 step he measured the whole earth under his feet. In the 2nd step he covered the Svargalok. Vamana, in his gigantic form, asked Bali that he had covered the earth and the heaven in 2 strides. Now there was nothing left in the universe that could satisfy his demand of the 3rd foot of land. But since Bali had promised him 3 foot of land, it was his duty to fulfill his promise. Bali was defeated. But in all his humility, he requested Vishnu to come back to his original form of Vamana so he could fulfill his promise. Vishnu accepted his request and returned to his gentle form of a dwarf. The king then asked Vamana to put his 3rd step on his head, thus surrendering everything he had, even himself, to Vishnu. Vishnu, pleased by the devotion and sincerity of Bali, gives back everything to Bali except for Svargalok, thus ensuring his devotees' prosperity and also the welfare of the Devas.